So now he's saying, is this not the fast that I have chosen? To lose the bonds of wickedness? That is the point of the fast. To loosen yourself from the wickedness that was having control over you. Reason why you were performing wickedness in different ways. So the fast, the point of it is for you to not do wicked things. So when you do wicked things while fasting, that is the clear hypocrisy of the religion of the world. So is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens? But they would fast and treat their servants worse instead of treating them better, losing their heavy burdens. To let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke. Every yoke. So that's why Yahweh used the idea of servants. And one way could be taken as release your slaves, give them freedom. That would be a true fast, because the flesh will tell you, how can you do that? You will lose a lot of money. You will lose this and that. You won't have it that easy, because they won't be doing everything for you anymore. But that is the flesh speaking, which makes you end up acting like Baal, Lord. So Yahweh is telling them, actually, the true fast is to lose all those things from you. The true fast is to not follow the flesh, is not to please the flesh. What the flesh is telling you, don't do it. That is the true fast. The flesh obviously needs to eat. So that's why it is the fast. It is represented by not eating, because that is the one thing that we do need in the flesh. But it is written that not by bread alone will men live. That is why the fast manifests as fulfilling that verse. The day that you fast, you feel yourself, you eat the scriptures, you eat, you study. So the word of Yahweh will keep you alive, will keep you going. So that's why it is in the flesh represented by not eating. But it goes on beyond that. You can fast every day by just eating what you need, for instance, but not feeding the flesh when it tells you to look at a woman with lust, or when it tells you that you should hate somebody, or when it tells you that you should offend whoever. So those times that the flesh is telling you, do this, and you know it's bad, you say, no, I won't do it. I'm going to fast on it. I'm going to fast from feeding the flesh what the flesh is asking me to do, which is represented by taking a day not to eat. So I want to make that clear. There is the fast of the flesh, which is not eating and drinking anything, and then drinking the water of life, Yahushua HaMashiach, and the word of Yahweh, which is like milk and honey, that may be your food for that day that you're fasting in the flesh. But to fast in the spirit is something that we should do all day, every day. Not feed the flesh. When the flesh is telling us to go and do something that Yahweh tells us not to do, then we shouldn't listen to the flesh. We should be able, through the Ruach, to have the willpower to tame it, pretty much. And it is also interesting that all these things that are said here are pretty much what Yahushua came to do through his sacrifice. That's why Yahushua came to take away the falsehood of that which is interpreted through the letter, and give us the spirit that is behind those letters, so that we may receive life, because the letter kills, but the spirit gives life. So, verse 7, is it not to share your bread with the hungry? So if you're fasting in the flesh and you're not eating that day, then you can take that food that you would have eaten, and you can give it to somebody that may not have food that day. That is the point, to help others, to be of blessing, to be a light. So is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh, like many people do. They hide themselves from family members. Well, they hide themselves from a lot of people, but also from their own flesh. Maybe because they don't have that much money, maybe because they have had trouble in the past, maybe because they may need help. And Yahweh tells us that is not fasting. So if you fast and you hide yourself from your flesh, from your own flesh, when you see somebody naked, you don't help them, you're fasting. You are actually doing it backwards. So if you, like, you may be eating something, but you see somebody who's naked and you give him something to cover himself with, right there you were fasting, because you didn't listen to the flesh that told you, go on, keep on moving, don't look at him, so that you don't feel bad later. I hope that is being understood. If you help those people, that is the true fast, even if you are eating something, because it is a fast of the spirit, not to listen to the flesh. It is not the fact of, I'm not eating so I feel bad and I'm going to treat everybody bad. So is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh. As when Yahushua was asked, who is your neighbor? When Yahushua said, love your neighbor as yourself. And somebody asked him, and who is that? Yahushua told him a story in which a man was jumped, pretty much, got everything stolen, hit, and he was on the road, and a priest went by, and he crossed the street. He didn't even want to see him. Then a Levite, who is close to the priest, also went by, did the same thing. They were seen by the nation as real pure. Perhaps they were fasting and everything. But then a man from Shomron, which to the Jewish people were like animals, pretty much. They were Israelites mixed with Gentiles, so they were pretty much Gentiles, and to them, because of the Talmud and other things, Gentiles are like animals in many of their opinions. So this person that to the Jewish people would be like an animal, and therefore was not their neighbor, and therefore they were not supposed to love him, from Shomron, Samaria, he was the one that actually helped the guy that was on the road, and helped to heal him, and gave him a place to stay, and food and everything, and pay for everything. This guy that to the Jewish idea of the letter was like an animal, actually was the true man, while the other two that claimed to be the example of manhood were actually acting like animals, because animals would just go by. Some animals actually would try to help. So it makes them even worse, those who act that way. So I'll continue. It says, then, this is important, so I'll go back a little bit. When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh. Then your light shall break forth like the morning. So their question was, why do afflict ourselves and you have not seen? Why have we fasted, they say, and you have not seen? Why have we afflicted our souls and you take no notice? Yahweh is telling them, well, if you were to do it right, then something would happen. The fact that you don't see anything happening is because you're not doing it right. And it's not because they are dumb. It's because they are fooling themselves. They choose vanity over truth, as they do nowadays. And that is the problem. So, is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you covered them, well, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light shall break forth like the morning. Then you will see a change in your life. Then you will see light instead of darkness. Then you will come out of that hole. Then your light shall break forth like the morning. Your healing shall spring forth speedily. You will be healed. Yahweh will heal you, because he's seeing that through your works you're healing the world. You're healing people. So Yahweh will heal you. He will take care of you when you take care of his things, his people, his ministry. So then your light shall break forth like the morning. Your healing shall spring forth speedily. And your righteousness shall go before you. And if righteousness goes before you, then you are protected by it. The esteem or the honor of Yahweh shall be your rear guard. So the righteousness will cover you from the front, and the kabod of Yahweh, the honor, exaltation of Yahweh, will cover your back.